ya! There's patch notes for the 20th anniversary. Let's go over them. So, I'm gonna go over the Assassination stuff, but really quickly before we start, I think Outlaw is pretty happy. Some of their changes are really good, like Crack Shot. This is smoother for gameplay for them. This is just a buff. And then this is also a buff. I'm pretty sure. This is a range buff to the cleave, so they get a little bit of the acro range back, at least on Blade Flurry. So that's a good stuff. I think the subtlety guys are a little bit upset because Shadow Dust is gone. But I'm gonna be honest. It had its time in the sun. It was a long time coming, and frankly, I think that it's mostly just a little upsetting because it's currently a patch where Shadow Dust isn't getting hate. But in the past, the Shadow Dust has gotten hate. It's like kind of an up and down thing. Shadow Dust is either like fixing things in the spec or not fixing things in the spec. And so right now it's fixing things in the spec, and so it sucks to remove right now. But in the past, it's been super hated, so it is what it is. However, we're not here to talk about those specs. We're here to talk about Assassination. Now, there are many wolves inside me that are fighting to have opinions. So, I'm gonna try and give my take on things, but I realize that I'm probably in the minority for a lot of these things. And there's a lot of people that are upset and a lot of people that probably either don't care or are happy. I personally don't really care. I think these changes are fine, but I know that a lot of people are mad. So let's go over them, and let's talk about what's happening. So first things first, this new talent, this is going in the place where Shadow Step already is on the class tree. Let me zoom in a little. So this is the same thing, except Outlaw doesn't have Shadow Step anymore. So this is giving us a charge of Grappling Hook instead of Shadow Step, and Assassination Subtlety still have 2 charges. So this doesn't change anything. I'm gonna skip over this for a second. Cut to the Chase extends Slice and Dice duration. Instead of extending it, grants it. So you don't need to cast it anymore, it just gives it to you. So that's a net buff. You just get 1 GCD back. You don't have to cast it, so you can take it off your bars, whatever. Again, this is the same as this. You still have 2 charges of Step with Assassination Subtlety. No difference there. Soothing Darkness. I mean, it's whatever. It sucked. It sucked before. It'll still suck now. Whatever. Echoing Reprimands. The icon's cool. I like it. The only problem is they didn't actually fix the icon for like the talents afterwards, like Resounding Clarity and stuff, so it's kind of weird. Flag's icon, also kind of cool, but I prefer the old one. It is what it is. Just icons. Then you have Fatebound stuff. Inevitable End instead of Inevitability. Okay. And then they now indicate that they can match any flip outcome, including edge, and not just one face or the other. I'll show you the tooltip wording on that afterwards, after we get through the end of this. Delivered Doom now provides bonus damage when more than one target is nearby, with the bonus reducing by 6% for each nearby target. This is similar to Precise Cuts on Outlaw. Delivered Doom before, it was the coin talent where Tails does increased damage to in single target. So instead of it doing more damage to single target, it now ramps, it now scales. So, more AoE. Happy stuff. Twist the Knife. This is the big one for Assassination. This is really complicated, and this will be the majority of the video most likely, because explaining this will be a nightmare, and all of the things that have to go with it. So before we do that, Thistletea granting automatically triggering when energy is reduced below 50. Now this is not 50%, this is 50 flat energy. And this overall is probably a net nerf. So you still have the button, you can still press it when you want to, but if you ever drop below 50, it'll automatically use a charge. Now, in general, we don't really want to use T in that way. We want to save it for Shiv. Cat, I'm sorry, you need to not be up here. So, in general, this kind of takes some control away, and you'll need to, like, optimally, right? Optimally, you'll probably need to not be under 50. Or you just kind of let it happen, and the one charge that you use in your opener then comes back for every Kingsbane, and that'll be okay. But I don't really think it matters that much. I think this should just be like, I don't know. This could either be a choice node or it could be just a full rework. But Thistletea giving mastery is an evil that this does not really feel good with. Now, a lot of people are upset about this. I personally don't really care. Like, if I use a Thistletea charge on accident, like, okay. I don't know. It doesn't piss me off as much as it pisses off other people, but some people are absolutely furious about this. I think for the casual Andy that just kind of macroed Thistletea into their Shiv anyways, which also sucks, this is probably going to be just fine. And you don't have to think about Thistletea anymore for those kind of people. And if you're not min-maxing, then you just kind of let it eat the charges and you're good to go. But if you're min-maxing, this probably feels bad in that regard. So let's look at some beta mined stuff, because some of this is also confusing. So again, just gives slice and dice, cool. And then they changed some tooltip stuff for Envenom in order to let it stack. This Crimson Tempest nonsense, all of this Crimson Tempest nonsense is just tooltip. There's no actual, like, number tuning. This is just tooltip stuff, because the tooltip was wrong, and it has been for a very long time. So this just fixes the tooltip. Basic enough. Twist the knife, we'll get back to that. And then, sorry, at the bottom here, Deliver Doom, so increased by 30%. Each nearby enemy reuses this by 6. So this is the same as it is right now in single target, but it also scales into AoE. So this is a net buff for AoE. If you're flipping tails, good stuff. You have more tails damage. Then you have Double Jeopardy and Inevitability, which is now Inevitable End. They say they match the same outcome instead of the same face, because edge flip, right? This isn't an actual change to the functionality. These can already match edge case. Like when you flip on Deathmark and it gives you an edge of heads and tails. They can still do that. They already do right now on live, but the tooltips now match it better. So, good to know that that's intended, I guess. So, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of Envenom overlapping. By the way, this is the new Echoing Reprimand icon. So that's cool. These haven't changed, so if you look, these are still blue. And I can go over to sub real quick and show you the new flag icon. I don't have anything set here on sub, obviously, but you can already see it down there. Let me just path to it, whatever. So there you go. It's like this little gray thing. Kind of cool. It's similar, but it's just not red. Alrighty, so let's talk about Envenom stacking twice. If you're familiar with Iron Fur, it works very similar to that. I will say there's a lot of bugs right now, so when I'm doing the showcase and talking about it, you'll see some weird stuff. I'll try to point it out when I can, but we need to talk about it conceptually first, right? So Envenom can overlap 2 times. So this means that you can have the buffs attached to Envenom twice. Now, what do I mean by buffs attached to Envenom? So first of all, you have the 30% increased application chance for poisons. If you Envenom and then Envenom again, you're going to have 2 stacks of Envenom. So you have 60%. They're additive, so 30 and 30. Other things that are attached to Envenom. Rapid Injection. Instead of 10, you now have 20. Dashing Scoundrel. Instead of 5, you now have 10% chance to crit your weapon poisons. So those are kind of the big three. To note, this is a debuff, so this doesn't trigger twice. It's still just on Envenom cast. Poison Bomb also is just a chance on Envenom cast. It is not attached to any buff from Envenom, right? It's simply the Envenom buff. So, what does that mean? Well, if you don't know how Iron Fur works, observe my shiny Iron Fur bar that I definitely did not rip off of Wago and repurpose. So, if I Envenom once here, you'll see 1 Envenom. This is the timer with 1 stack of Envenom. Now, first bug that happens. If I have 2 stacks of Envenom, the second stack will Pandemic. So I'm just gonna Rupture here just to get some energy, and then I'll show you. So, step 1, Envenom. Step 2, Envenom again. So you'll see I have 2 stacks of Envenom. The first one drops, so now I have 1 stack of Envenom, but I Pandemicked, so that disappears. Kind of unlucky. Shouldn't be Pandemicking. The other fun bug is if I do more than 2 Envenoms. Let's see if I can manage to do this. So if I have 2 Envenoms and then I Envenom a third time, now all of them will drop. Boom. Lost all of my Envenoms. So keep that in mind. Those are bugs that will get fixed because they shouldn't be happening. However, we need to talk about what's the implication of this is, right? The implication of being able to line up Envenoms like this. So the first thing, which I'm going to say is, I think this is the most reasonable way to go about it. The math might point to something else, but here's my take on what is the most playable and fun. First off, the T change, if you go under 50, you're going to press T automatically without anything else. So let's not do that. Let's just, outside of cooldowns, we're at high energy. And instead of playing for the Envenom timer, we're just going to try and not overcap. I'm just going to hover around like 200-ish, right? And then if I hit 250, I'm going to just slam. So this is chill. This is super chill. I don't need to watch my timer, right? I can watch on my second monitor, and when my bar turns green, because I still have that logic from before, I can just slam it, and it's perfectly fine, right? You can see I'm at 2 stacks sometimes on this bar. Usually I'm at 1, but I'm getting benefits, so there's nothing wasted here. And so I can just sit here, kind of just hover wherever I want to, use an Envenom, we're chilling. Now, where this gets interesting is during cooldowns. So if I were to Envenom, and then I were to say, do like a cooldown sequence, just like normal, right? And I now have 2 Envenoms. I'm stacking my Kingsbane faster because I have more poison applications, right? I'm getting more rapid injection because I have double Envenom. So all of these things are culminating in bigger burst. My burst is more larger because I'm applying more poisons. I'm ramping Kingsbane quicker, getting double rapid injection during my cooldowns. So twist the knife, don't be fooled. This thing is going to increase burst. And that is its primary kind of design right now. Outside of cooldowns, this doesn't really do much because outside of cooldowns, you're not really going to be overlapping the buff much, and it's also energy inefficient to do so. But by God, during cooldowns, when you're spamming Envenom anyways, this is pretty good. For example, you have a base rate, if I untalent into this, Dragon Tempered Blades reduces all the stuff, right? But you have a base rate of 35%, right? With Dragon Tempered Blades, that goes down to 24. However, Envenom has a 30% increased application chance. Well, it's 30 plus the 5, right? So this is 24, but Envenom is adding another 21% on top of that. 1 stack, right? So you're going from 21 and, in this case, 3%, so 24%, you're going to 45%. right? Because this is another 21%. Okay, but now if you have 2 stacks of Envenom, you're getting another 21 on top of that, right? So you're going to 66% chance to apply a poison. That should be even higher than that, right? No, 20. Yeah, so 66% chance to apply a poison, which is pretty high. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty high. That's more amplifying poison applications during your cooldowns. That's good. That's more deadly poison and amp poison damage. That's more energy if you're running Dashing Scoundrel. That is faster Kingsbane's ramps, right? All of these things. And Deathmark duplicating your poisons, so you're getting more of your duplicated poisons. It's probably pretty strong for Burst, I'm gonna be honest. But I don't have numbers. And I don't want to, like, it's bugged right now, I don't really want to speculate too much, but think of Twist the Knife as just a Shiv booster. If you are in Shiv spamming Envenoms, this is a booster. If you are in AoE and you're generating a ton of combo points and you're playing around Caustic Spatter, this is going to be a ton of extra Envenom. This is going to be a ton of extra poison. It's going to be a ton of extra damage through rapid injection, increasing your Caustic Spatter. It's going to be more amplifying poisons if you play with that, which is again more damage on your Envenom, which is more Caustic Spatter, so on and so forth. So there's interactions with this that need to be considered. And I don't have the answers for that. But hopefully that makes sense. And I'll leave it on that. Let me know what you guys think. I personally don't really care about the T because I can't be bothered trying to min-max that hard. I'm either going to be really high on energy and just chilling, or I'm going to be eating a T charge every now and then, and I'll live with it. Let me know what you know about the new icons, if you like them or not. I read all the comments, even the stinky ones. Have a good night. Bye.